Another range of tiles which is becoming increasingly prevalent in the commercial sector are the Bolon style of designs, which you can see a few typical images of here. They're obviously non-rectangular and they fit together to create repeating patterns, and you can create, you can fit them together differently to create a different physical grid, and then obviously apply different colors to get all kinds of effects on the floor. They come in a couple of 2 or 3 different styles. This one I'm showing you here at the wing range, and then there's also what they call the deco range, which is this other shape which only fits together in one way really, and then you can apply colors to that. So I just want to show you how you'd start on let's look at the deco one first, because that's fairly straightforward. We just put in deco and then we put in the dimension, and I'll just call it a 50 centimeter. And what that does is it puts in enough tiles from this one command here. It puts enough tiles in to make sure that the thing repeats and it creates a proper grid. And if I put some colors into that, red, green, you can see that there's just one tile in the block. So what you've got is one tile, and Calidus has worked out what the repeat of that is to fill the floor in properly. So again, this is an example where TileScript is taking care of all the I'll call it unpleasant maths you'd have to do to work out what this repeat was actually. By just putting in deco and a size, you get that. Now that only gives you one tile, so you don't have any flexibility with colors, but you can put in a grid. So if I put in, say, 2, 3, then what you might be able to see straight away, I'll just bring that down a bit, is you've got a grid which is 2 by 3. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 down here, and then they're staggered across. So the whole thing fills together. If I put in more colors, you can see that things start to get a bit more interesting. So here we've got a 2 by 3, which is obviously 6 different tiles in the repeating grid. So you've got the flexibility of being able to put in these different colors and mix and merge them together to get the effect that you need on the floor. The way to approach this is actually look at what your customer has asked you to do and then work out how to repeat that. I mean, if I can change that by putting that a 3 by 2, and you see it does change the effect quite quickly, or even a 1 row by 6. So just by this one command here, you can get a wide range of different effects by applying different colors, different ranges. And the main problem you'll have is working out exactly what the customer wants and then how to put that back into TileScript. So that's the deco tile. Let's have a quick look at the wing tile now. So if I just put in the command wing, I'll make that a bit bigger actually. Again, the sizes of these are fixed by Bolon, so you'll be able to get these from the manufacturer, but I think in the Bolon case it's actually I think it's about 200 millimeters as the size, but I'm just going to leave it at this for the time being. If I put in some colors for that, let's just put in 2 colors and you can see what's happening here. By putting in wing, the straightforward, the simplest command here, wing, it actually puts together 4 of these tiles into a block. So this is your first tile, this is your second tile which is stacked next to it, then the third tile is rotated and put here, and the fourth tile is rotated and put there. So that what you have is, with one command here, Calidus has assembled a fairly complex set of tiles and then creates a grid from that. So another thing you can do is, I'm just going to leave that at 1 and 1, and then let's just put in now these values here of 1 and 1 means that we want a grid which is 1 by 1. If you miss that out, so just put it like that, that assumes a grid of 1 by 1. That means this block can be extended, so you could have 2 of those and 3 down. So again, rather like with the deco tile, you've got a really wide range of being able to put these together. But if I want to use other parameters, I do have to then put in the 1 by 1, which means we get the same effect, but it knows what it's doing with those. Then we can put in the style, which is also 1. But what you see is if I change that to 1, we actually get a different layout, which I'll explain in a minute. So change that back to 0, and we get the same effect. But now the next parameter is more interesting, because what we can do is we can say this is the first element, and at the moment the second element is being dropped exactly underneath it, but we can put a shift into that, so we can move that across by, let's say, 1. Okay, and now you can see that this one is moved over. If I move that to 2, 0.5, so all these different numbers that you put in here allow you to shift the thing across to do whatever you want to do with. So you can, if you like, these all stack together as a monolithic block of tiles, and each row can be shifted by as much as you want to, much or as little as you want to, I should say. Let's go back and have a look at this parameter here, this fourth one. Again, the wing command takes 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. If I change this to 1, then actually what the system does is it changes the way the tiles are put together. And so now, instead of that rotation effect here and a block which sort of makes what look a bit like chevrons, we put them together into a different arrangement, so that we just got 1, then it's flipped or rotated and stuck back to itself, and then that whole thing is repeated again. So this is how you can, by changing this number, you're changing the arrangement of wing tiles on the floor. So the main thing is that when you're asked to use a Bolon tile from your customer, you just look at the type of design they want, and the main two are going to be either that arrangement or that arrangement. And again, with this one you can offset the rows, so I can put in a 0.5 there, and now you see that that one is shifted across. And these changes that I'm making here, just changing that from 0 to 0.5, makes a dramatic change in the appearance of that. So again, if I put that back to 0, the difference is very dramatic. Okay, and again, obviously once you've quantified that, let's just put that down to, I think it's actually this one. Yeah, so if you look at that, we've now got a whole area planned in a Bolon tile, and you've got your waste percentage up here as usual. So even though these tiles are irregular shapes, well actually they're actually regular, they're non-rectangular, Calidus is able to still quantify those, and you get your quantities, and on your reports here you'll see the different values for all the bits that you need. So that's Bolon tiles, and the two different varieties, the wing and the deco. There is also a triangular tile, and we'll be putting that in with a different film later on.